Here is the front of Chatsworth House. Again with all the cavities and indentations. Fantastic artwork. And what a fantastic looking building built. Okay, so look, we've got an old world structure right at the end of here with the colonnades. And as we know about the energy and the energy lines, it's directly linked to this stone cup at this end. Still don't know what it was for, but it's very interesting. As we see, the cascade is down there directly in line with the front of the house, and in my opinion and in my knowledge of what I've found so far, this was once all part of the cascade as well, this path, and it's all been filled in, and it used to run at the front of the house and then down and finish off at the River Derwent down there. I'm 90% sure that that was the case. As you can see from this view here, the dome on this structure here is the same as what we're going to here, and the domes on the hunting towers. They were all either copper, metal or gold domes, and they were very conductive. This was one huge house that was harnessing the electromagnetic energy. As we can see here in the side of this building there's a symbol, let me just try and get it, a symbol of the snake, and that was also to do with the electromagnetic grid. Symbols, it's all symbols. They probably have much more meaning as well. Symbol of the toroidal field everywhere. We can see here. Okay, so this is a really interesting find here. This goddess or whoever it is, it's on a cup here in these huge colonnades here. And then if we look down the path right at the other end, we zoom right in, is the other cup. He's struggling to zoom, but there is the other cup right down the end of this path, directly in line with what this goddess is standing on. And it's all to do with energy lines, as I've said. See, inside this main greenhouse there's an old horseshoe gate made out of stone with iron bars enforced. And remember, the horseshoe magnet, it's the shape of the magnetism. And remember, they used to grow their own produce at Chatsworth, huge lily pads, huge bananas, with the help of the energy to grow. That's what, you know, the evidence is pointing towards. And this was a huge horseshoe magnet inside here. They've destroyed so much other evidence that was originally here, but this is evidence in plain sight. Okay, so do you remember me talking about all the magnetism involved in the electromagnetic grid? And this was one huge horseshoe magnet with the colonnades. Just look at the size of it. Incredible artwork on it. All of it was horseshoe shapes all along, and the huge columns with iron in the middle, remember, and the dome on top, and the cupola underneath the horseshoe shape. She's huge. Remember, we have these all over the realm, the Arc de Triomphe in Paris being one of the most famous ones, but they were all magnets. So here we are, what was repurposed as a larder. Now that's actually funny when you think about a larder being this far out in the grounds, because this was actually the engine, like I've been talking about, with the octagonal pillars. Originally this was the huge engine storing the electromagnetic energy from the house, which was here. Now if we take a look inside, see here, this is the narrative, the game larder. The official narrative is always there to throw us off track. We see here, inside, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pillars. I know these were not the original pillars, but these were just to mark the edges of the structure. But they've even put little hooks to make it look like that was where they hooked the game inside the engine here. This is brainwashing, conditioning from a very young age. And once you see the truth, the narrative begins to look stupid, it begins to crumble in front of our eyes. We're going to be on our way to the hunting tower soon, one of the best structures in my opinion on the site. Well, this was the engine, the octagonal engine. What a place. And on the front of the extra structure, I forgot to mention, there's a snake again. And again, this is all part of the electromagnetic grid. I know it's hard to understand, but the snake is all part of the continuous energy. It's a symbol. I need to look into a bit more, but it's definitely part of the grid. It's part of a symbol of the grid, just like the toroidal coil. And that's why the World Health Organization have stole a symbol to represent their criminal agenda. It's a very steep hike up to the hunting tower. It's no wonder not many people go and see it with the hike up. Surrounded by lovely rhododendrons and bees. After a long walk up to the hunting tower, well, the so-called hunting tower, this is an old world structure with the copper domes, and it would have had a huge purpose in storing the energy from the house and providing it, maybe. Not sure the exact purpose of it, but it would definitely have a really important purpose to play. As you can see here, ground level is underground. What a structure. And definitely not for hunting. Why build something as huge as this just for hunting game and then storing it in the engine down there that I showed you? The narrative falls apart. These domes, you can actually see the conductor orb still intact. Don't know if that's the original one actually, but it might be. But there we go. What a fantastic structure, and these 4 domes, 4 conductive domes looking down onto the grounds of Chatsworth House.